Mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts. How do we like our martial arts? We like them across the pond, mates! Yeah!
I'm mulling over whether I should try and match the energy and do a British accent. I decided against. Oh, hi everybody. This is Alexander K. Lee here. I will be serving as your host for the UFC London Evloev versus Murphy preview show. Of course, that was the voice of Mike Heck, who is both producing the show and also be doing some co-hosting. Say hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
There he is.
I mean, hi, AK.
Hey,
how are you?
My best friend doing a great job as always. I'm good, man. I'm actually kind of excited for this card. I should let people know. I think anyone who listened to any shows recently, I'll actually kind of be out of town. I'll be keeping track of the card, of course, on MMAfighting.com. And it's a shame because I feel like I'm a bit higher on this lineup than a lot of people seem to be. I don't know, or maybe I'm seeing too much negativity. Maybe people are juiced for this. I'm just like I'm on the wrong social media stream or something. Maybe it's getting caught up in sort of our general criticism of UFC cards in general, which is fair, which is more than fair. But I think for a card that is overseas, that is happening in London, I think they put together a decent show. We'll get into it, guys. We'll get into my optimism for it. I don't think anyone can complain. Oh, before I go on, let me just say, of course, since we're in London, I am wearing Tottenham Hotspur, the greatest football club in the land. Get your troll comments in now, people. I know there's actual footy fans out there. Go ahead, make fun of me. Make fun of me. They're staying up. They're staying up, all right? They're not going to get relegated. I choose to believe this. But yes, we're not here to talk about footy or soccer, as I guess we say here in North America. We're talking about MMA, guys. Mixing the martial arts. And we got two of the best, I would say arguably two of the pound-for-pound fighters in the world. I think in our rankings, we do have Evloev. I think he's like 19th or something. And I think if we were to expand to like a top 30, I would comfortably put Lerone Murphy in there. I do think he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Mike seems a little less confident he'd be in there.
He's borderline.
He's borderline.
I would see the argument.
30 days. Undefeated.
We have to remember, though, AK.
Yes.
He beat... he's coming off an incredible knockout. No doubt about it. But it's not like he did it to Diego Lopez. He did it to Aaron Pico, who was an unranked fighter, and obviously came in with a little bit of hype. But Lerone was by far the toughest test of his career. So this was kind of set up nicely, and Pico did look good until he got absolutely iced out. But
the Aaron Pico story, yes,
yeah, he's fringe. If we extend it to 35, he probably squeezes in there, and that's pretty good.
Well,
that's pretty good,
Mike. The good thing is he gets to prove it this weekend, right? It'll definitely shake up our featherweight rankings and our pound for pound rankings a little bit. We have Movsar as the number 2 featherweight in the world, of course, behind only the champion Alexander Volkanovski. I'm sure people who keep their own rankings would have already maybe put him above Volkanovski. I wouldn't do it yet, but I get it. He's undefeated. He's looked very good. A lot of people thought he should have gotten the title fight by now. Both him or Murphy could have gotten the title fight by now. But that's not the reality we live in, unfortunately. We are instead going to see them face off in the main event of London on Saturday with what has been said many times on the broadcast, a number 1 contender opportunity. They said it, guys, not us. I mean, I think we all assumed that when this matchup was made, but the UFC themselves have said it. So that doesn't guarantee anything, but I just don't see any path where that. I don't know where they don't. Well, I'm not going to say it. Mike, you know what, Mike, let's get into it. Okay. Let's say neither Lerone or Movsar has a banner performance. They win a decision. It's convincing, but it's not memorable. Think of, let's say, Nasruddin Imavov beating Caio. Remember when Nasruddin beat Caio? We're kind of okay, well, let's see what happens with the RDR fluffy fight. That fight didn't even happen. RDR gets upset by Brendan Allen, and then we kind of looked back on the Imavov fight, and we're well, he was in pole position, so I guess he just stays there. But that wasn't a statement performance. So let's say one of these guys does something like that, wins like Imavov did, good fight, but not a huge highlight reel battle. How did these guys lose this title opportunity? I guess is what I'm saying to start off on a negative note.
How do they lose it?
How do they lose it?
I mean, John Silva existing, I guess.
Tell about your John Silva theory, Mike.
I mean, I don't really. I hate it. By the way, I hate the John Silva theory. We already did this with Diego Lopez, and we all know how that fight went. Diego obviously did not deserve a title shot. Obviously, he's not going to say no to a title shot, but he certainly didn't deserve it over Movsar or Lerone. And now they set these two dudes up. Like, what are we doing here? Like, if it's not the winner of this fight, it's absolutely insane. And if they're trying to make John Silva happen, who literally like just got finished by Diego Lopez less than a year ago, and which led to Diego getting the title shot. And then John bounced back and like got a pretty good win, but the winner of this fight, like, obviously has the best win of any of the title contenders. So I don't understand how the winner of this doesn't get a title shot. And by the way, Volkanovski ain't going to be clamoring for John Silva. He's not going to be like, yeah, John, come on down. He's going to say, whoever wins this fight, you're next. You've earned your opportunity, because Volk is that kind of guy. He just wants to fight the next dude up, the guy who is the number one contender. And whoever wins this fight is unequivocally the number one contender. But the UFC is doing UFC things, and this is one of the reasons why people are pissed and they are annoyed with the UFC, because the best fighters aren't getting their opportunities. Ask Arman Sarukian, ask Nasruddin Imavov, ask many others in their respective divisions who aren't getting their opportunities to fight for belts. Whoever wins this fight should get it. I'm not convinced they will, and it annoys the crap out of me.
Damn. But you agree though that they could. Okay, let's go to the more positive side. I said, like, if there's a forgettable performance, let's say Movsar dominates Lerone Murphy like 50-45 with his grappling, with some good striking too, or submits Lerone, or vice versa. Let's say Lerone reaches down deep, somehow finds another big knockout, takes Movsar out. Surely that would lock one of them in to that spot.
It better.
Okay.
It better. I just a spoiler alert. I think Movsar Evloev is going to run over Lerone Murphy. I don't think this fight. I don't think this fight is even very competitive. I think Movsar has a clear path to victory. It all depends on the Movsar that shows up. Are we going to get Movsar? And Jed mentioned like Curtis Blades is like a very good example here. Does he show up like Curtis Blades and it's just like, I want to get rid of the Dana White painting of the board with the boring brush that he unfairly gave him because he got him confused with somebody else? I think Marc-Andre Barrios or Chris Curtis that night at UFC 297. Maybe, but if he just goes in there and fights like Movsar, he is gonna win every round. He just gotta get Lerone down like 7 or 8 times, and he will cruise to a 50-45. Lerone's gonna have a moment or two, so maybe he wins a round or something. But Movsar just has a skill that Lerone is not very good at overall. Like Josh Emmett was able to get him down, Pico was able to get him down, and I think Movsar is a much better grappler than both of those guys. So yeah, I don't know what the fallout of this fight's going to be. It'd be awesome if Volkanovski was there, though. He won't be, but I know John Silva says he's going, but it would be awesome if Volk was just like, nah, John, get out of the way. I'm fighting this dude.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the timing here. So we just saw Volkanovski defend at the end of January / start of February, depending where you were in the world. So it's only about a 7-week gap between that card, UFC 325, and this card. So the timing does feel like it should be perfect for Volkanovski to defend against one of these, either Lerone Murphy or Movsar Evloev. We know he's not, so he didn't get booked for. We're booked up to July. It looks like we're booked up. Oh no, we don't have July yet. Sorry, we're booked up to June. July seems like it's formulating. Sounds like they're going to have a date for the International Fight Week card.
July 11th.
July 11th seems to be where we're landing here. So I don't know if that's where Volkanovski ends up. So we might be thinking August. And I could see that. I could see that's not a bad turnaround for him. That's not a bad turnaround for one of these guys. So I don't think timing is going to throw a wrench into either of these guys' plans, hopefully, because sometimes it happens, guys. We see that, right? We're like, the champion defended like 2.5 months ago, and then we have a contender come up, but then the champion wants to fight soon, obviously, and then the contender can't turn around quickly in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. That shouldn't be an issue here. So like I said, I'm staying as optimistic as I can that London is like legitimately getting a true number one contender fight. Like I'm really glad they chose this for the main event. Do I wish that like Movsar and Lerone could both fight for the title? Of course I do. Lerone should have fought for it already. Movsar should have had a chance to fight someone else to get his keep his number one contender spot and get it. But that's not the world we're in, Mike. So just judging from an entertainment and stakes standpoint, and then we can sort of get into the rest. If you want to kind of discuss the rest of the card as well, and how like this fight kind of ties it together. How are you rating this? How's your level of enthusiasm? Let's go on a scale of 1 to 10. How's your level of enthusiasm with the main event, and also how it like kind of everything's gonna trickle down from there?
Main event is like 9.5 out of 10.
Love it.
Just, I mean, how often do we get like literally the top two dudes in title contention fighting each other in what should be and is being promoted as a number one contender fight? Like this does not happen. Lerone Murphy was fighting Aaron Pico, and the whole narrative was like, if Pico wins, he gets a title shot. Like it's very rare that we get these kinds of fights. So this is perfect A+ matchmaking. Although I feel very confident that Movsar is going to win. Like Lerone might land some spinning craziness and perhaps get it done. I don't know. But this is a really good fight, and I am fascinated in it. The rest of the card is like, it's fine. You know, like we know what they're doing with the co-main event. Like Michael, the co-main event is actually excellent matchmaking for what they are trying to do. Michael Aswell is super fun. Dude is a wrecking ball, but he's gonna get obliterated by Luke Riley. Like they're Patty Pimbletting Luke Riley right now.
Sure.
That's why he's in the spot. He's Patty's teammate. They're gonna try to put him over in a big way. And this is why it's like excellent matchmaking, because Michael will go after him and make this really fun, and then Luke's just going to clobber him at some point. And the MVP fight makes no sense to me. I still, this is like one of the most confusing pieces of matchmaking that I've seen in a long time. It truly makes no sense to me. Like, good for Sam getting this opportunity, but he's going to lose. He's going to lose a 29-28, long-range kickboxing match. And he's barely going to touch MVP, and MVP is going to win with 14 significant strikes landed. Like, it's just one of those fights that we kind of know what's going to happen. Ewo's fun. He should get a knockout here. Dolidze, CLD, like, I'm actually oddly fascinated by that.
Me too.
I think CLD is going to, just going to dust him up something proper.
He should.
But I'm curious to see like how Roman bounces back from his soul being stolen from him by Anthony Hernandez. And then Curtis Campbell's fun. They're going to try to get him over here. Yeah. And there's some decent matchups. Like this is a card in 2026, and with all due respect to the man, congratulations getting to the UFC. This is a card that has Felipe Franco on it.
Mm-hmm.
And not at the Apex. Like this is a thing that's happening. Antonio Tricoli is fighting on this card. Like there's some things happening here that are okay, and things that are happening that are not very good either. So B minus.
B minus.
Yeah, 79.6 is what I'll give it out of 100. Like it's could be great. It should be a C+, but maybe you have a teacher that's just feeling generous and is going to bump you up to an 80. That's just how this is.
Yeah, I'm being generous. I'm probably going to hard B, a confident B. I wouldn't go B+. I'm going a confident B. Mike, we got 2 heavyweight fights on here. That's kind of sick. Which I'll be optimistic. I actually think both of these will not go to the scorecards. I love
Pinto, Felipe Franco is certainly not going to the
Franco has never been in scorecards, and he's only been fought like 6 times, but still. Felipe Franco's fought like 10 times, 11 times. Anyway,
10-1.
Either way,
he's 10-1, but he's fought like nobody,
and has never gone to the cards. Never gone to the cards. Sutherland Parrish is a little bit of a shakier proposition, but I still think we'll see a finish. And I love a heavyweight over as much as anyone, guys. I love. I haven't seen the odds for this one, but I mean, odds makers are kind of caught on. Like heavyweight overs used to be a gold mine. Like they were almost always like plus. You can't really get that with these anymore. I think people kind of know. So I don't know where Sutherland Parrish just landed. I guarantee Pinto Franco is not plus. Pinto Franco goes the distance probably minus 800 or something. And inside. Anyway, you guys know what I'm saying. So I like that. We did lose a fight, Mike. We did lose Melissa Mullins and Luana Carolina. I should have led off with this, guys. I'm sorry for anyone who didn't see. Luana Carolina, a notorious weight misser, not at 135, we should say. We should say she had this very ill-fated run where she was trying to make flyweight. I think she made it once or twice. She very clearly could not make it comfortably. So she has gone back up to bantamweight. She lost her last fight at bantamweight, and this was, I don't know if this is her last shot, but she did not come close. 144, 8 pounds over the bantamweight limit, including the non-title 1 pound allowance. She brought out the box of redemption for some reason. Well, the box of shame for her, as if I'm not sure what the thinking was there. She obviously wasn't going to come close to the 136 limit. Very bizarre, guys. You can find video out there on TNT Sports, which also shows Melissa Mullins very emotional making weight. She showed up before Caroline, I believe. Very emotional making weight. A tough cut for Melissa Mullins as well. She has missed a couple of times at 135, and all of that for nothing. So not great. The fight has been canceled. Obviously, the weight difference is just too much. I think the regulatory body in London has said, yeah, we're just not going to let people do that. So we did lose a fight. We are down to 13. But I don't think it's a bad card. And I do like that we have a lot of, kind of like you suggested, like some squashy matches on here. Because that's all I want when you go to like, to a place like London, is like, give me the stars and put them, or local stars, and put them in positions to succeed. Like when Umar Sy was in Paris, I keep saying he was cheered as like he was Conor McGregor. And he has come nowhere near that since. I mean, they keep throwing him in the apex and what have you, but either way, his performances haven't come near that. So I don't mind it. This is for the local crowd, but I think you're right. It could use a little more juice to put it over just a B. Like it's just, a UFC event shouldn't be referred to as just like a local show. I guess it's kind of like damning with faint praise. But I love the Nathaniel Woodlow Sinkata fight. Sorry, guys. I know we've gotten far off track here, but I think it was nice to break down the card from the beginning, unlike we usually do. So we'll go back to the main event, Mike. You've kind of given your prediction already. Do you want to lay that out again? Do you want to just give us summarize that again? Really drive it home. He's on your fantasy team, isn't he, Movsar?
He sure is. So perhaps there's some bias there. Maybe. But according to FanDuel, Movsar is a -250 favorite. I think there's incredible value at that price. Sure. I would probably line Evloev in the -300, -320 range. He just has a style that has, I mean, it's been proven that it can get Lerone in trouble. Now, I know Lerone has not lost, but he has not faced like a guy who's just going to go in there and mush you the way that Movsar is going to try to do in this fight. Like, I think Movsar is going to be very smart. Again, I don't know why he gets painted with this boring brush. The Dan Ige fight was not great. The Diego Lopez fight rocked. The Aljamain Sterling fight was really fun. The Arnold Allen fight was really fun. I don't understand the boring brush outside of the Dan Ige fight and maybe a couple others. Again, I still will say to this day that Dana White has had no idea that night who Movsar Evloev was. I think he's just a grump because the card was horrendous outside of the main event and that fight, honestly. And I just think he was like super grumpy and unfortunately took it out on Movsar. But yeah, I think Movsar's striking is way better than people give it credit for. So if he wants to turn this into like a slugfest, like he is not a fish out of water. I think he can do pretty well. But Movsar has to win this fight. He is in must-win territory here. Like I think Lerone probably to some extent is too, but Movsar is like absolutely has to win or he's never fighting for the belt the way the UFC views him. And I think he wins. I think he wins comfortably. I think he wins 49-46, 50-45, something of that nature. He's just going to tackle Lerone. He's just going to make things real miserable. But he can crack too, man. Like he can stand there and put mitts on you. It's something about that's part of his game that just doesn't get enough credit. So yeah, give me Evloev, lopsided decision, and he's probably unfortunately going to watch John Silva fight Volkanovski, and it pisses me off.
Mike, don't say that. Don't say that. You have the matchmaking wand on Sunday, so you have the power to make sure that doesn't happen.
I will do my best.
But... You're a very influential man in this industry. People know this. Our show is we've made many fights happen. I have essentially guided Paddy Pimblett's career. I mean, with our
You kind of have, honestly.
So, okay. Yeah, I have serious concerns about Lerone Murphy's takedown defense. So, of course, I'm leaning Movsar as well, probably by decision. Just to give people some stats here, not to get all Long Island Luke on people, just get some stats. Aaron Pico took him down twice. Josh Emmett took him down 4 times. I'm just going official stats here, guys. I'm not saying I remember these fights super clearly. Gabriel Santos, 5 takedowns, 5 successful takedowns. And Makwan Irmakani also had 5 successful takedowns. Now, to Murphy's credit, his grappling defense is really good. I don't remember him suffering too much from these takedowns, and he was able to kind of prevent his opponents from, I think, doing too much with them. But he does go down. Like that is a fact. He is. I'm not saying he's like trying to fight off his back or trying to give up takedowns, but he is certainly. I think he does believe a lot in his athleticism, his ability to scramble. Like I said, his submission defense, his grappling defense, and that's fine until you run into a guy like Movsar, who I think is really great at controlling. Is also, I think, a very high level athlete. So I just don't like Murphy's chances of stopping that. So sorry everyone who's tired of seeing like, you know, what Charles Oliveira did to Max and what again, a lot of other high profile fights we've seen have ended with, you know, the grappler just kind of smothering their opponent. I think you might see a lot of that on Saturday. And as Mike said, I hope that doesn't mean like boring, because I think we could see some good scrambles from Lerone. I think we could see some exchanges on the feet. But if you're Movsar, you know how important this fight is. And I don't think, even if you trust your striking, which you can, I don't think he necessarily should and shouldn't necessarily want to either. So I do have Evloev winning a convincing decision, and the London crowd being absolutely mortified by the headliner.
I will say this. I will say this though, despite this being like somewhat lopsided in my eyes, I think we're gonna like. I kind of have Armin Gamrot vibes heading into this fight, where it's like the dozens are closer than people think, but one guy just has one skill that's better than the other. And I hope that's the case, because Armin Gamrot is one of my favorite fights ever. I've watched that fight more in the last 3 or 4 years than any other fight by a lot. It's just so good. It's like high level shit. And we could get that here, but I have a feeling it's going to be Lerone in like full scramble mode, but that's fun. Like that makes this more entertaining than maybe the scorecard suggests. So I think this will be more fun than what a 49-46 in your mind might look like when it comes to a Movsar Evloev fight.
Are we going to, you don't think we're going to get too many of the boo birds? The boo birds are going to, these London crowds are rowdy.
Yeah, I mean, they might be just because Lerone's involved and he's just getting dummied. Like, if that happens, like if he gets taken down 20 times, like they're going to boo. Like they're just absolutely going to boo here. But them's the breaks, as they say.
I want to go to the main event, but I think, again, we've kind of discussed how this is really a showcase fight for Luke Riley. Super talented guy. All due respect to Michael as well, but when you're getting flown in for a card like this and you're being put in a co-main event spot against a guy like Luke Riley, the expectation is that you're going to get just dusted in some way. So we don't need to pick a winner for this, Mike. I assume we're both leaning Riley, unless you've got a strong as well underdog take.
I think Luke's going to win, but I think he gets shocked a little early here by Aswell. Like I said, this guy is going to get shot out of a cannon. He is incredibly exciting. He's a guy that has the chance to be employed by the UFC for a very long time because of his fighting style. Unfortunately, Luke Riley is an absolute sharpshooter. It just might take him a minute to get cooking. So I think Aswell has a great first round, and as long as Luke Riley doesn't get finished, Luke's going to take him out in round 2. So I think it's going to be very, very exciting for the 6 or so minutes that this fight lasts. But yeah, Luke in the end is going to have the moment, maybe a teammate or two. Him and Patty, Getty Images is going to have Luke Riley, Patty Pimblett images all over the place. They're going to be at the post-fight presser eating pizza together. It's got to be the Luke Riley show for sure.
Okay, well, that was good. What I was going to ask is, outside of Luke, because let's say, again, let's assume maybe the main event is either, you know, entertaining, but just not like a fight of the year candidate. Can someone else steal the show besides Luke on the main card? Just this main card, Mike. Let's take the main card. Who else has a chance to really be the big storyline that we're talking about coming out of this card? If you had to pick one, but pick one. There's several. I think there's several people actually. Like I said, I do like the matchmaking on this card. What if you had to pick one though? One from the main card.
I mean, there's plenty of options. I mean, I think the easy picks would be either CLD or Ewo, but Sam Patterson has a real chance here.
You're totally leaving out Michael Page. So you think Michael Page is not gonna, if he wins, it's not gonna be like in an impressive way.
It's gonna be a Michael Page win, like it's just a classic MVP style victory. And if he win, now if he gets on the microphone and starts shitting on the UFC, or he makes like a fiery call out, then yeah, maybe he could steal some shine. But if Sam Patterson goes out there and wins a clear-cut decision or stops MVP, like, we're going to be on the post-fight show wondering, did Sam Patterson just knock MVP out of the UFC? Like, did he just end Michael Page's UFC run? Because I got to tell you, just the way that it seems, just a vibe check, the UFC is rooting for Sam Patterson to go out there and get it done. So Sam could do it if he wins, but I don't think he's going to win. So I'll go with CLD because he's going to get a huge pop after he eventually finishes Roman Dolidze.
If Sam catches MVP, let's say KO's MVP. Again, I don't know what the odds are on this. Has to be something like plus 750 or something like that, maybe higher. If he does it, that has to be like what we're talking about the most. Again, barring something crazy happening in the main event. That's going to be what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, probably. Sam Patterson by KO is plus 650.
Damn.
MVP by KO. Care to take a guess?
It's still plus for sure. It's got plus 300.
Plus 175. In fact, the odds are better. They're closer to zero. Page by KO more so than Page by decision. Page by decision is plus 200. Page by KO is plus 175.
Well, Sam Patterson has only gone to a decision twice in his career. He's built a very well-deserved reputation as like a exciting sort of, I want to say get or get got, but he's only been getting recently. It does feel like he could, like if you guys watch him fight, he does feel like he could get got, especially by like a significant step up in competition. Like, okay, he's got 4 straight KOs for sure, surging up the rankings. I think I have him somewhere in the top. I think he's comfortably in the top 30 right now, and I've been waiting for him to get a ranked opponent to really push him up. So maybe this is it. But Johan Linus, Kiefer Crosby, Danny Barlow, Trey Waters, tough guys, not exactly the elite of the 170-pound division. And I don't know where you guys rate Michael Page. I'm sure you would put MVP considerably higher than a lot of those guys I just listed. So I don't gamble on MMA, guys, but I'm just saying that KO line, I see why it is where it is, Mike. I see why it is where it is. He could catch him.
It'd be huge. It'd be huge for MVP to get a finish. Like it would be massive for him. But again, like a great showing and great mic work puts MVP on like as part of the headline for the post-fight show. Like, Dana, get your shit together. Hunter, what are you doing? I want to fight somebody. And then he calls out like Colby and just like a fiery call out. That'll do it. Yeah. Like that'll certainly put him in a big spot. But no matter, like I just, to clarify how I feel about this card, like it's not the most high stakes card of all time.
No.
This is, again, much like we felt about last week's card, this is perfectly match made. We have like a couple of heaters in here, but we are going to get like, we're going to get people getting just run over on this card in quick fashion. A lot of fan noise and people being into this. Like, we are going to have fun watching this event. There's going to be a shit ton of finishes on this card.
Interesting.
I mean, look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the fights are like minus 480 or higher. And then like a bunch of like Movsar's high, Luke Riley's minus 200, Michael Page's minus 200, Curtis Campbell's minus 240. I mean, there's very few lines where both fighters are in the minus or plus 100s. Like very few. And that means a lot of finishes. So we will have a good time with this. If the UFC can make the pacing palatable, this will be a very fun card.
Okay, first I want to say I think Ewo could steal the. I think they really.
I hope so. AK.
I know you do. Listen, I'm not like some old school Ewo fan. I'm like you guys. I saw his Contender Series fight, and I saw the super awesome fight with Ewo Aslan. That was so fun. So I'm dealing with a very small sample size here, but I'd love, listen, all first round finishes in his career. Love to see that. He's being matched up with a depleted Austin Lane, which is just hilarious. Austin Lane dropping 205 is, listen, maybe Austin Lane is a force of nature at 205 and he's fighting for the UFC title by next year. I would be completely shocked if that happens. I think he is being lined up here to get EWO'd. So
how did he look?
He looked okay, but he looked like a guy who cut like a lot of weight. Like he looked okay, but he cut a lot of weight. I just don't think it's natural. I think he's a big guy. I do not think it's natural for him to fight at 205, but he made the weight. So what can we say, right? Yeah, good for him. So, but I do think Ewo could steal the show. And they could have a real, like, not star, but you could even start building mystique. Excuse me, guys. If you can start piling up these first round finishes. So I like it. I like it a lot. What was the other thing I wanted to ask? Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry, Mike, as you're going over all the finishes. over under on finishes. Over under finishes in this card. So we have 13 fights. Over under 8.5.
8.5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, here we go.
I'll say under. 8.5 high.
You think 7 or 8? 7 or 8. It looks like you're landing on 7 or 8. So
7 or 8. Yeah.
So under 8.5.
Yeah. So I'll say 8 because there's always one like you don't think of that ends up happening. So I'll say 8, but I don't think we'll get 9.
I'm going slightly over. I'm going to go slightly over. Probably because I am picking both heavyweight fights to end inside the distance. I think that's a big one for some people. Is like, well, the Sutherland Pericic, Pinto Franco might last like 15 seconds. Sutherland Pericic, again, I think you'll know. It's one of those ones you'll know in the first 2 minutes if this is going to go 15 minutes. It's one of those heavyweight fights. So yeah. So it could be interesting. Tricoli, I think is going to get. It could be it for Mr. Tricoli. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he gets his first win. But yeah, 8.5. Let me see what you guys are saying. People tell me in the comments. What do you think, guys? Over under 8.5 finishes. I should just do a poll. But I'll just I'll do a poll because I'm going to run this poll off here. Who wins the UFC London main event, Mike? Evloev, 68%. So 32% for Lerone Murphy. I think that's pretty in line with the odds. I think that's pretty in line with Tapology. Oh, no. Wow. Tapology, 80% Evloev. Wow. That is beyond the line, actually. Impressive. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Well, hey, people on that site usually pretty educated. I find most most of the users of that site. So let me run the question here, guys. UFC London, over, under 8.5 finishes. Let's see what people are saying here. Over or under? All right, let's see. Oh, did I break the? Oh, there we go.
Did you break the poll?
I almost forgot how polls work, if you can believe it. Mike, anything else from the prelims jumping out? I feel like we haven't talked enough about like Nathaniel Wood and Losine Keita. I feel like that's just weird, like sleeper. I think it's like the right spot. I'm not saying, well, no, they wanted Curtis Campbell on the main card. Okay, they wanted Curtis. Fine. Yes, I won't dispute too much. I think the main card is right, but you could have put Wood, Keita in there over maybe Ewo Lane and maybe over Delete, say a CLD, but I know they like CLD too. I know they're trying to push him. You got any feel for that fight? There's actually two prelim fights, Mike, that are kind of interesting. Mason Jones and Axel Sola and Nathaniel Wood, Losine Keita. A little bit similar, like Jones and Wood, the more veteran UFC fighters. Sola, I think just his second UFC appearance. Young guy too. And Keita, of course, a very popular star over in Octagon, making his kind of delayed UFC debut after that debacle with Pitbull. So, what do you think, Mike? Do you think we could see upset city here? Do you think the veterans could show out, or do you think that they're going to showcase these younger talents as expected?
Jones Sola is going to be super fun.
Yeah, love it.
They're just going to beat the shit out of each other. It's going to be an absolute banger because lightweight rocks. I have one bet on this card, and one bet only. It is on Nathaniel Wood at plus. I got him at plus 205. This man just continues to be disrespected. He keeps getting put in these matchups that really don't make any sense for him. He deserves better opportunities. And I think he is carrying a giant shredder-like chip on his shoulder heading into this fight. And I'm stunned. Like, Cade is very good and very fun, and he's on a nice little run. But minus, as the line that I got, minus 260, crazy against a guy like Nathaniel Wood, who's gotten some really good wins. He pulls off lots of upsets, and he is going to fight for my money at plus 205. Like, he is not going to get the doors blown off him in this fight at all. He is going to be super competitive, and I think he has a really good chance to win. So that is my only bet on the card, is Nathaniel Wood.
He hasn't been an underdog too often in the UFC, if I'm going by the history here. He did his last fight, of course, Jose Delgado. He was slight underdog. And then Feely. Oh, no, not Feely. Sorry, Charles Jourdain. He was also slight underdog, and he won both those fights. But yes, he generally seems to be in every fight that he's involved in. So I don't think this is as clear-cut a case as of the UFC trying to book like a squash match for Keita. I think they know Nathaniel Wood is good, and I think they're like looking to actually test Keita and kind of see what they have with him. I think because because again, he is an experienced guy. He is coming in, I think, right in his prime, coming at the perfect time. And I do think, not that they want to see him lose, not that like, oh, we just signed this guy, let's have Nathaniel Wood like spoil his debut. But if he gets past Nathaniel Wood, I think it kind of opens up a lot of options for them as far as like pushing him as a legitimate guy at 145. Because Nathaniel Wood is a serious test. So I love that matchmaking, and again, I don't think it's meant to be a squash match, and I certainly would be shocked if it turns out that way. All right, I think we can go to the people. Mike, let's see if we can go to the people.
Let's see what we got here. Get your questions in. What do we got here?
All right, Joseph Boza. What's up, Joseph? In the fantasy draft, Mike has Movsar and Evo this week. How does he think they will do? Also, Jose has Luke Riley. Jose barely remembers he has a fantasy team half the time. I should tell you guys this. Also, because one, a lot of his guys haven't fought, I don't think. And two, I think we've kind of come up with an issue with our fantasy league where there's really no mid-season moves. It's kind of, we do our picks. Now, the season is, I don't say it's short because I mean 6 months is like a normal fantasy league season in any sport. It kind of goes by. I feel like it goes by quickly. I will say I do think our fantasy league feels like it goes by quickly. But we have been having discussions for the future. Trying to figure out what ways we can, not trades. Trades would be a little tricky, though that is certainly an option.
Free agents for sure.
Free agents. Maybe if you have a spot that like the person has, that hasn't fought yet. Like you haven't. Oh, my middleweight hasn't fought yet. Maybe you can swap in another middleweight if a fight gets booked. That you're like, oh, I want that one, and you could treat it like a waiver wire where. Whoever is currently trailing in points gets the first dibs. It'll be a bit weird because, again, it's not equal because some people have had 6 people fight, some people have had like 2 people fight, but it's doable. It's doable. It kind of makes sense in a way. So we'll try and organize that. But yeah, Mike, you sound like you're confident in Movsar and Ewo.
Oh yeah, I'm getting lots of points. I'm very excited.
He's ready for
I'm making my move. I'm starting to make my move here. I'm already being counted out again. AK is already being crowned the champion by Jed, and this happened last time. This happened last season, and then all of a sudden, Waldo woke up and did the damn thing for me, and then of course Petr Yan became the bantamweight champion and put it over the top. So I'm very much alive in this thing, very much alive.
That was ridiculous.
Biggest news of the day.
Yeah, we could talk about it. RIP Chuck Norris. I don't have a lot of. Let's say adult memories. Or like I don't think I've watched like 10% of this man's filmography. He made so many martial arts films. I know when I was a kid, my mom always used to say I was like obsessed with Chuck Norris. I don't remember this because I think he had a cartoon as well. I believe there was a Chuck Norris cartoon as well when I was younger. Really dating myself now, but yes, I do remember. Of course, I also spent a little time growing up in the U.S. Guys, I'm a Canadian born and raised, but I did live in Massachusetts for a little while. Mike, don't say anything.
Let's go, AK.
Don't say anything, Mike. And I do think when I was there was a lot of Chuck Norris like on television and sort of him being presented as this like very iconic martial arts figure. So yeah, RIP. We just found out the news today. Apparently it might have happened Thursday-ish morning in Hawaii. His family has also released a statement, not putting out any details. That's fine. It's none of our business. But 86 years old. 86 years old, the great Chuck Norris, martial artist, actor, and competitor. So everyone out there.
Yes. Walker, Texas Ranger. Shout out.
Watch you guys love, if you love absurd humor and Conan O'Brien, definitely watch his compilation of Walker Texas Ranger clips that they used to run in the show. Very random and very funny.
What a cameo in Dodgeball.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, without him, Average Joe's would not have won that title.
They would not.
And the gym would have been sold to Globo Gym would have owned it. There would be no Average Joe's gym. But Chuck Norris, a man of the people.
Yeah. The memes, Mike. The memes. The original memes before meme became a common phrase. Everyone knows what the word meme means now, but that was a meme, like the original meme in the early 2000s. All the Chuck Norris, the legendary feats and all these funny exaggerated stories about Chuck Norris. Hilarious stuff. But before we even used the word memes, those were jokes that were sort of being passed. A shared social joke that was being passed around. So.
The Total Gym. Do you remember?
Are you still talking about Dodgeball?
No, the Total Gym.
What was the Total Gym?
It was a
home gym. It's a home gym.
It wasn't even a home gym. It was just like one piece of equipment where like it had one of those like benches that moved up and down. It had handles on it, so you could do like all these different workouts. And it was Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley that were like they would host the infomercials. And Chuck, like this is like he was still doing them like a couple of years ago. Chuck was out there just still like working out and selling the Total Gym. Like What a hero. What an absolute hero.
Wow,
Chuck
I actually
Norris
don't
is.
remember this one. There you go, guys. Shout out to the Totals Gym. Some AZ Ray video says Total Gym was sick. So, Mike, you're not alone in this. People.
See? Maybe it's just because you were in Canada.
Yeah, maybe. People are going to hit their Total Gyms right now in his honor. Someone has a Total Gym in their basement collecting dust, and they're dusting that bad boy off this evening and just putting in a few reps for Chuck. Justin Cash 894, thank you for the super chat. CLD beats Roman via bald head violence round 2. Wow, confident. Yeah, Mike, you and I sort of talked a little bit about this. There is a chance Deese can out grapple him. Like, I just don't. I think CLD's takedown defense is okay. I wouldn't put him as like an elite takedown defense guy, but I think it's okay. And Roman hasn't really just been able to sort of like muscle someone down since like Jack Hermanson. And that was right. That was a while ago. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I always forget an actual middleweight. Excuse me. An actual. Yes. Yes. Of course, he lost Kevin Holland, which we all predicted was going to happen. I think Holland he wasn't favored in that fight, was he? Surely not.
I don't know. I mean, he kind of hossed around Anthony Smith too.
A retired guy again. You know what? I'm sorry. I should have disclaimers. I think what I meant to say is I haven't been impressed by a Roman performance since the Jack Hermanson. Sorry, that's probably the nice way of putting it, or the not so nice way. Roman, he was a slight favorite over Roman. Wow. People were still putting money on Holland to win middleweight fights like as recently as that. That's bad. Yeah. But yeah, huge underdog. But there is a chance that he just like powers through, avoids getting knocked out at least early on, and just kind of frustrates Duncan with grappling. So I don't think so. I think Christian Leroy Duncan is pretty quick and has enough takedown defense to avoid that. And I think that's most people are predicting it's going to stay standing up and he's going to style on Roman. Roman out grappling, I think, is a very realistic thing. I just don't know how much that's left to take.
I mean, we'll see. CLD is a giant middleweight. He's humongous for the division. So
yeah, this is not Kevin Holland, for example. Let's put it that way. This is not Kevin Holland.
I'm so fascinated by that fight. I just don't see a world where Deese just doesn't get absolutely hammered in this fight. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he has one of the most incredible bounce back performances in UFC history. Because if he goes out there and it just beats the soul out of CLD, like that's a great feed post. Did Roman Deese just have the greatest bounce back performance in UFC history? Because he got tortured by Anthony Hernandez to a point where like I was like, this dude can't fight again. Like how do you come back from that? There's just no way. And
do you think he retires if it's another disappointing performance?
No, I don't think so.
No. Oh, really?
No, I think he'll keep trying to get a bag.
Damn.
So, yeah, it's not like he took a lot of damage in that fight.
No,
he just got his soul taken from him, and I don't know what kind of pain that lasts, how long that lasts, but boy, we'll find out tomorrow.
Finn Hamilton, what's up, Finn? What, if anything, do you guys make of a guy like Charles Johnson saying he's been asking for pink and orange shorts for a while and getting denied, while Curtis Campbell gets pink shorts instantly? There's certainly no nice way to talk about this. Like, I don't think. Let's put it this way: it sounds like they're somewhat invested in Curtis Campbell again. Maybe just for this event because they are in London. They're kind of maybe they're giving some of the London fighters a little bit of the star treatment. And this was Curtis's gimmick, if I'm to understand, before the UFC. He's the Pink Panther. He's the pink shorts guy. Why does Charles Johnson not get the same limit? I don't know. I feel like Charles Johnson doesn't get the same. He
wasn't on Contender Series.
Yeah, maybe. There's a lot of things I feel like the UFC does weirdly with Charles Johnson. So I don't know. I think they take him. I kind of agree with the tone of this question. At least I think that's what's being implied is like, I think they take guys like Charles Johnson for granted a little bit. It's just like, well, it doesn't matter. We don't need to like satisfy this because we know he's going to say yes to whatever fight we offer. We know he's going to, always put in a good effort. We know he's going to fight ranked guys. We know he's going to fight up-and-comers. We are not interested in pushing Charles Johnson as a star himself, which is, it's a crappy ththing to say, but listen, you asked, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. If Johnson was on Contender Series and had a big finish, he would have a better shot. I mean, that's just how it is. Like they just try to make the Contender Series so important when there's 100 fights, or I don't even know how many fights there are. There's 50 fights and then 52 people get contracts. It's not as valuable as it once was, or it's not as it doesn't mean as much to get a contract off Contender Series as it did in 2017, 2018, the early seasons. So
I always feel sad. I always feel sad seeing you talk about Contender Series, Mike, because you were there. You were there.
If you're a newer fan, it was my favorite. It was truly, I thought this is the greatest idea the UFC ever did. This is Dana White's masterpiece. The way it was scheduled and the way they put it together. I mean, literally the best prospects in the sport, best fighters outside of the UFC, regional champs from all the major promotions were all fighting against each other. Like, I remember the first main event, we had the CES champ Matt Bissett versus the Titan FC champ Kurt Holloway. Like, that was the main event of the first Contender Series. Like, this is a dream fight for everybody that was following the regional scene and watching Fight Pass every weekend. These are the types of fights we're getting, these dream matchups that we couldn't get. And Contender Series was giving them to us. And even if you got a first round finish, like, you weren't guaranteed a contract. Ask Austin Vanderford. I don't think he had a first round finish, but like, Vanderford didn't get a contract. Brendan Lochte didn't get a contract. Chris Curtis didn't get a contract, and he had like a sick finish.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as easy. All you have to do is show up and like be competitive for a round, and you have a chance to get a contract, even if you lose. So there was a time. The curmudgeonness comes out of me when it comes to the Contender Series.
Listen, I see people in the comments asking me about Ultimate Fighter, obviously making jokes about Ultimate Fighter. Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you. We'll talk about now. Master of the Universe Classic, Mike and AK especially. Yes, thank you. Do you think Tough could have improvements now from a product and a viewer ratings perspective, considering they're now on an entertainment platform with Paramount? First, let me say I echo like what everything Mike has said about like Contender Series is how a lot of us felt about Ultimate Fighter. We loved the first few seasons because there was legitimately a pool of talent to like pick from. Again, you look at the season one, it was like Josh Koscheck, Forrest Griffin, Diego Sanchez. Like, these are legitimate. Mike Swick, Kenny Florian fighting at middleweight, which was crazy. Like, these are legitimate guys who went on to have like 10, 12-year careers, fight for titles. Like, this was the best unsigned talent that you could find at the time. Now it's literally just kind of this open tryout where it's just whoever they think is. I don't even know if they're picking guys who are good for TV, because if you guys have watched any of the recent, like the past 10 seasons of The Ultimate Fighter, I'm not sure what the criteria is. It's not like wacky characters. It's not necessarily the most super accomplished fighters. I really don't know what the criteria is. I know there's definitely some seasons where it's depending who the coach is has certainly affected the casting, but that's a whole other thing. Managers, of course. So yeah, it's Contender Series has essentially in many ways gone the same way as the Ultimate Fighter, just because the talent pool has dwindled so much. It just doesn't. You're just not getting any sort of selectiveness when it comes to who's on these shows. So will Paramount make being on? Can Paramount help to make Tough, more watchable again? I just don't think that's a priority. I think they know what the Ultimate Fighter is right now, and I think they're okay with it. I think from a budget standpoint, it's an extremely cheap show to produce relative to a regular TV show, and I think relative to your average reality TV show, I think it's extremely, extremely, extremely cheap to produce. I don't know what changes they could make presentation wise. There's so many things I wish they would flip around, so many things I wish they would do without, but I just don't know if there's any inkling to do that. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope someone at Paramount maybe is an Ultimate Fighter junkie like me, and like some of you in the comments, and says, hey, guys, you give me, I know you guys don't care about the show anymore. Give me carte blanche to do whatever I want with it for one season. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We can always go back to the old format. But let me try some new things. And what those new things are, again, I have some of my own ideas, but I would like to see someone who's actually involved in TV production, who's in the industry. I'd like to see what they think. I'd like to see a fresh take on it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here, but some tweaks here and there for sure could revitalize it. Will it ever bring viewer ratings back up? I think the ship has kind of sailed on that. Yeah, I think the ship has kind of sailed on that.
I mean, start with hockey jerseys instead of basketball jerseys.
That'd be sick.
Let's switch it up for
that
the
costs
first
money,
time
Mike.
ever.
Mike, that costs money. You just raised the budget of the show.
We're still doing basketball uniforms.
You just raised the budget of the. You just raised the budget of the show. You just
what the hell? It's just so it's literally the same show. It's the same show. It's so frustrating because
Dr. Ned Cashew in the comments saying, bring back booze. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That was a huge, when they made a concert ever say, listen, we want to show fighters as being more professional and as real athletes. It got a little boring. It got boring. They took a lot of the booze out. Yes, they stopped casting like complete maniacs, which in some ways was a good thing. I think some people got a platform that probably shouldn't have in the past. But yes, it made for a boring show. So yeah, there's some things they could revert to, I suppose.
Yeah, booze is not a bad idea. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, Dana's so checked out, he's like barely on the show anymore. Like he was part of the reason why like that show was successful, because he would just go in and scream at the fighters, like, "Do you want to be an effing fighter?
Classic.
This is what it takes." Like
a clip they still play to this day. It's a classic moment.
Like if you mess up, like you go in Dana's office and you're just like, "Oh, is Dana going to send him home?" Like that's the drama like that we just don't get anymore, and it's lost so much luster. It's such a bummer, but I don't know. We'll see what they do here. I'm curious to see who they cast for this season. I've heard possibly a name that.
What are the divisions again?
I think it's bantamweight and middleweight.
Okay, I have no reaction.
We'll see who they cast. I mean, golly, they put freaking Conor McGregor on the show and nobody watched it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I can't remember what ratings news we got for that. I do recall. I think they touted something like a good number for the first episode.
Yeah,
publicly, and then just never commented on it again. Probably because viewership just fell like 75% after the first episode.
And then to also trust Paramount with how they've handled the UFC thus far in 2026, I think you're asking a lot, because the Paramount run from a production standpoint, outside of UFC 325, which just was a terrible fight card, the production was good there, but it's been horrendous since, or even before that. Like 324, a lot of negative feedback. 325 is great feedback. And then since then, it's like, oh, the audio went out for 10 minutes, or, oh, the main event of 326 is on and we lost it for half the round. Like things that need to be fixed and fixed quickly. Like I'm not at the point where I'm like, man, I miss ESPN Plus, but boy, we're an event or two away from me being like, wow, is ESPN actually the better streaming service? Didn't think I would even be thinking that, but here we are.
UFC Fight Pass forever. I was going to say it is men's bantamweights and strawweights, women's strawweights, obviously.
Oh, so we're going to mix the men and women in the same house.
Which I love, which I normally love. It hasn't always led to like interest. There's definitely still been some season where it's like, oh, okay, which is fine. Listen, everyone's, like I said, everyone's supposed to be professional, but we are getting somewhat closer to my idea I once had of Paradise Fighter. But that's it. That's all. I'm not going to elaborate on. I almost got canceled last week, so I'm going to stop right there. I will not elaborate on what Paradise Fighter was supposed to be. You can search my old buddy Elbow blogs. Probably I may have written something about this. Hopefully not. Hopefully deleted from the internet forever. So
I'll tell you what you need to do. You need, in Contender Series should also do this. Fighters who are on the cusp of getting cut should be on the show. They should be on the show.
You've said this many times for Contender Series, yes, and also for, oh my god, it would be it had so much intrigue. Like
Phil Rowe just got like released from his contract, and Phil like could be something. Like he's a huge dude for the division. He's pretty fun, especially in the third round. He's also got like a ton of personality and confidence to himself. Like he's great on camera and speaks well. Like he's a guy that like you should probably give another shot to. Like there's something to him where you could get him over. You throw Phil Rowe in there with another middling welterweight who's on like a 3-fight losing streak. Like that's a great Contender Series main event. But the best, I knew Contender Series was cooked forever when they did the season where they had the prospects versus the veterans.
So good.
A lot of the second chancers, and they didn't bring Will Brooks back. Like that to me was just like, they're done. They are not listening to anybody. They don't care. We're just trying to make like the managers happy and make sure their fighters get on, as opposed to like literally every fan was like, why is Will Brooks not on this? Like this dude's winning a ton of fights. He's winning regional championships everywhere. He wants to compete. He wants to get back to the UFC. He's a changed man. He's found religion. He's not a prick anymore like he was when he was first in the UFC. Like what a story that would have been. They were just like, nah, we're not doing it. We're not going to give the fans what they want. Like, I don't know. We're at a very interesting time, AK.
I just love the idea of having, and it's a bit cruel, but having fighters, like you said, who are on the fringe of being released. Okay, you're not on the next UFC card, but you are going to be in Contender Series, or you're going to go to the Ultimate Fighter to kind of stay. And if you Contender Series, if you win, guess what? You've just earned yourself 1 or 2 UFC, however many, you enter another UFC fight. It's almost like a relegation. It's like adding a relegation element to it, which I love for anyone who watches like, association football. Like I love the idea of it. And by the way, again, that's not going to happen to Tottenham Hotspur. They will not be relegated. But yes, I've always wanted to see relegation in North American sports. It'll never happen. North American sports are just not structured that way where it could make sense. But MMA is not a traditional North American sport. Some would argue not a sport at all. So you could have that. You could really do that. Joseph Boza 740. I don't know why I'm reading the whole thing. Joseph Boza, our pal. If Mike and AK could pick the coaches for this season of Tough, who could coach it? Okay, Mike, let me say first, I would not pick fighters and then to try and build up a fight. I've said this 9,000 times. I do not care about having fighters booked and then using that as like, and then after the show's over, you're going to see them fight in like 8 months. There's been so many fights that fell through for various reasons. Obviously, when you extend a fight that long, there's just so many things that can go wrong. Also, sometimes it just tries to make more out of certain matchups that like, I don't care. I do not need 8 weeks of buildup for this matchup. So do not pick the coaches based on, well, we want to have these guys fight near the end of the year. Please don't do that. My coaches would be Matt Serra would be one of them. I don't think he's ever going to do it again, but I think he's one of the best coaches on the show I've ever seen. I think Matt Serra is hilarious. He can bring Ray Longo, whatever you want, but I would like Matt Serra to do it. I just feel like he's not going to want to be away from his family at this point for however long it takes to film the show. And the other, you could go a lot of ways, probably Chael Sonnen. I think Chael Sonnen is like a really good television coach. If you guys watch any of the seasons he's on, whether you believe he's being genuine or not, at least for the show, he acts like he's very much invested in his fighters. He's obviously Chael. He knows how to be comfortable on camera. He's created memeable moments. The Vanderlei Silva, I can't let you get close. I can't let you get close. So he's going to do stupid stuff too. So my dream is like Sonnen and Serra, but they won't do that because they're not going to fight. And that's all they seem to care about for some reason.
Armin Sarukian should be one of them for sure. Like he is so over right now. He'd be spectacular.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
He'd be spectacular on the show. Wouldn't do Oliveira. Patty? Armin and Patty would be
of course. I mean, if you're going to, yes, if you want to go Armin, yes.
Even if they don't fight. That'd be really good.
They probably wouldn't. Someone would get injured or just whatever.
You could do Armin and Giorgio. Who the hell knows? Yeah, Armin would be great. You want to know what my prediction for coaches is going to be?
Am I going to like, is it going to make me happy or is it make me angry?
I mean, it makes me angry.
Okay.
Dominic Cruz versus Michael Bisping.
Oh, see, okay. I like that because that goes. I don't want active fighters.
That's fine, but we have enough Michael Bisping as it is.
It would be a lot.
We don't need 12 weeks of it.
But I think they would be better as coaches. Like I know what you're saying, Mike. I think a lot of us maybe we don't like their live broadcasting, but live broadcasting is a very different skill. I actually think Dominic Cruz and Bisping has coached, I want to say twice on The Unfighter, at least once. One time opposite Jason Miller, very entertaining season. And Bisping was very much positioned as like being a dickhead. He was in prime dickhead mode. I think he was relishing it. So that was actually a really good season. Dominic Cruz has also coached opposite Faber, and I do not remember anything about him on that season. That was the ill-fated live season. Do you remember that, Mike, when they were doing live fights every week?
That was awesome.
The fights were great. I don't remember any of the actual storylines. Mukasa obviously had a very, very meaningful storyline that year. But
Joe
other
Proctor.
than that,
Joe Lozon was on that show. Was he on that season?
Not that season. No.
Joe Proctor was. Joe Proctor.
Joe Proctor.
Ali Quinto was on that season.
Ali Quinto, but the concept didn't land for me. They only did it once because it just, I don't know, it didn't add much to it.
Andy Ogle.
Oh my God, the immortal Andy Ogle.
Yes.
Who was like KO'd by Makwan Amirkhani in like 7 seconds once. But yeah, so Cruz, I honestly do not remember what Cruz was like as a coach. I had to watch that season again. But
I bet he'd actually be pretty good.
I'm saying, see, Mike, it's not that bad. Maybe it keeps them off. Maybe it keeps them off a few shows while they're taping. How about that?
Oh, now we're talking.
What if I told you that?
Well, I mean, if they're on the desk, it's fine. I like them on the desk. I do like them on the desk.
Harman Sarai saying Islam versus Ian Gary. Islam, I just don't think would do it. I think that would be fun. Islam would not do it. Ian Gary would do it in a second. Islam, I think no interest. No interest. And I want to address one other comment from Harman. He says they need to do segments where it's like just focus on the two fighters that are fighting. That is actually what that's all the show is. It only focuses on two fighters, and then but you don't get enough even then. It's kind of like you get these segments and they're nice. You can see their family a little bit. You can see their dogs. But that's it. You don't really get an in-depth thing. I think the most fun is when you get to see them like interact in the house as a group. And that's actually been cut out a lot. Maybe because they don't anymore. Maybe like everyone just keeps to themselves. So you just don't have that footage. But those were the best times. Because if you watch the show now, someone will fight in like week 1. You'll forget they existed by like the 6th episode because they just don't revisit them. It's like every episode is so strictly dedicated to the two fighters fighting, you forget the rest of the cast. Yeah. So I actually think that needs to be tweaked a little bit. But
who can be the next Diego Sanchez? Like that's the reason I watched Tough One.
I thought it was Ricky Tercios.
Such a maniac.
I thought it was Ricky Tercios, but we forgot like you actually have to be kind of good. Like Diego's actually a good fighter in his prime history.
Like it was very strange. One more thing I wanted to ask you, AK. I saw a bunch of people asking about it. Edmund Shahbazyan was supposed to fight Iron Turtle, I believe, next in 2 weeks at the world's most famous Apex. Iron Turtle injury that required surgery, and he's out of the fight. We found out who he's going to be fighting June 6th, back at the world's most famous Apex. He's fighting Brendan Allen. This one seems very strange to me. Like, did the UFC just like not like Brendan Allen? Like, dude he just effed up Reinier de Ritter and knocked him out of title contention probably forever. And then Kyle Bahalio just locked the door behind him. But man, Brendan Allen, congratulations on getting this massive win. You step in short notice. People are saying maybe you should fight for the belt or get DDP or get somebody like that. But hey, let's give you Edmund Shahbazyan. Thoughts on this matchmaking, AK?
Okay. Who was his management?
They're both managed by the same.
They're both managed by the same. So pretty easy to put this match
starts with an A, ends in Lee Abdelaziz.
Oh, he's okay. I mean, I just hate it. I hate it. I think Brendan did such a good move taking them against RDR, just beating him up. The DDP call-up made a lot of sense. Maybe a Sean Strickland rematch. Like there was so many big fights that made sense after that. Like he literally like leapfrogged essentially Fluffy, who had just beaten him in their rematch. Right, they fought a second time. Fluffy beat him, and it looked like okay, well Brendan's now back to the line. But then he beats RDR. Now Fluffy loses to Sean Strickland. It's like oh, like Allen's like right back in there. I don't know if he thinks this is like maybe a favorable matchup, which I would have said 2 years ago. I would have picked Brendan Allen clearly, but Edmund has made some like real advancements with his all-around game and could knock Brendan Allen out. So, and the other side of it is, let's say Brendan Allen does beat Edmund, it doesn't do much for him.
There's nothing for him.
It's a kind of a no reward, medium to high risk fight. So it's strange. And Mike, I understand. Listen, a man's got to eat. A man's got to eat. You can't just sit on the sidelines. If he needs a check, he needs a check. Maybe he gets a win check too. Maybe the UFC obviously gives him a little bit extra, a discretionary bonus for coming in on short notice. That's all good stuff, right? This is a reality, right? This is how this man makes a living. But it is disappointing to see, and I wish Brendan Allen could have and his team, and I wish circumstances would have allowed him to wait for a bigger fight, because this just doesn't make a lot of sense for either guy, except for Edmund. If Edmund beats him,
he's a top 7 dude.
Are you ready? Are you ready for top 10 middleweight Edmund Shahbazyan, Mike? People know I had written off Edmund a long time ago. I had said I think maybe 18 months ago, whatever, before he started this win streak, I was like, oh, Edmund's done. I was like, he's going to lose. Maybe he wins his next fight, but at some point he's going to lose in his next 3 fights, and it's over. Super talented guy, and he's shoved it right in my face because he's looked very, very good.
This is kind of everything for Edmund, honestly. Like this, again, like you said, this is terrible matchmaking. Like I just want to put this out there. This is horrible matchmaking.
He hates it, guys. He hates it.
It's so bad. Like Brendan Allen deserves so much better than this. And I was very poo-poo-ish on him versus DDP. I didn't love that.
But at least if he beats DDP,
but now after like the way the middleweight division's been booked, it's like, all right, we have to do Brendan Allen versus DDP, and if he wins, like he should probably get a title shot. Like this performance against RDR was perfect, but to give him Edmund, who's on a nice run, but like I'll tell you what, man, I don't know how this fight's gonna go. Brendan should win this fight easily. because while Edmund has improved in the wrestling defense area and some of the grappling, like Brendan Allen is like he's an A grappler. And if he just tackles Edmund, he's gonna win pretty easily. But if he doesn't, if he's just like, well, I got to be more exciting, I guess. Like I don't know, man. It's just so bad. What is happening here? Like we're about to watch MVP fight Sam Patterson, and then 2.5 months later, we're gonna have to watch Brendan Allen coming off the biggest win of his career, the best performance of his life, fighting Edmund Shahbazyan, who once upon a time was 2019. They were trying to make him a thing. Goes out there and obliterates Brad Tavares, and then they brutally mismanaged his career by chucking him in there with Derek Brunson and then Jack Hermanson and also, Andre Muniz. Who was it? Nasruddin Imavov. Then they threw him in there with Imavov. I'm like, what are you talking about? What have you done to this man? They ruined his career. And now he's finally making his way back, and they're like, you know what? Let's try it again. Now, it could work this time, but if it doesn't, like, you can't do this again. This is it. So, like, there's just no sense to this matchmaking. Truly no sense to this, but I don't know. It's freaking crazy.
Mike, how about that main event Saturday, though? How about Saturday?
Very good.
Event? Oh, okay. I want to go out on a high note. I can hear how distressed you are, but
we get Seattle.
And justifiably so.
Yeah, we got RAF in Seattle next week, so it should be a lot of fun. And then
there you go.
And then look, we're back to the Apex for. I don't know how much fun we're gonna have April 4th, but maybe it ends up being really good. Who the hell knows? And then the road to Miami, we got some quick stops, but
we're churning along, Mike. Hopefully you can get I some people. I am taking this weekend off. It's a time. It's not because of this card. It's just a timing thing. I just had some plans for this weekend. Just so happens I'm missing UFC London. Mike, hopefully we can get you, because I think you and I talked about in a recent show. We've got like 10 straight weekends, I think, of UFC fights coming up. So hopefully we can have Mike take a little break in there. All of you guys take a little break too, but not for this card. I think if you're sitting at home, I think you'll do all right. 1 p.m. Remember, guys, this is in London time. 1 p.m. start time on Paramount Plus. 4 p.m. main card. I don't know if we did lose the fight. I don't know if it's a 1:30 start time, but either way, guys, you get the idea. 1 or 1:30. Just be ready to lock in. My people's in Canada, UFC Fight Pass and sports. I'm sorry, no. All on UFC Fight Pass. All on UFC Fight Pass. Fight Pass, never die, guys. Mike, will it be you on the pre-fight Q&A tomorrow?
Yes.
Saturday?
12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Coffee and questions. That's what
possibly one, right? You're not going to go an hour if the show starts at 1:30. You're going to bump
it. UFC.com, 1 p.m. start time.
1 p.m. start time.
So
okay. So 12:30 pre-fight Q&A, and then you and Jed, I assume, on the post-fight show, and maybe you and Jed on to the next one. We don't know yet.
Probably just me.
We'll see. You and the peeps. So people, send in your picks to Mike. It'll be your show on Sunday, and I will see you guys sometime next week. Thank you everyone for joining the show. Bye bye.